All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our first departmental deep dive of the fall semester of 2021. We appreciate everybody taking time out of their busy schedules to join us on Facebook tonight. I am being joined by some of our best and brightest from our Communication Studies department. We have a wonderful event planned for you tonight. And again, just a quick agenda so everybody knows what to expect. We will be going through just a brief presentation with Dr. LaValle that hits some of the more important highlights and probably more relevant information for prospective students. And then after that, we're going to be jumping into a panel with some of our current students, as you can see here right now. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. You can type them onto the Facebook post and I will relay them to the group. The event should take probably around 45 minutes, but we've been known to run long in certain instances. And this event is being recorded and we'll be posting it for additional use, probably, if not by the end of this week, then probably by the beginning of next week. But before we go any further, we're just going to jump into some introductions. My name is Tom. I'm the Associate Director of Communications in the Admissions Office, and I will be your host for tonight. Dr. LaValle.
Sure. I'm Angela LaValle. I am a professor in the Department of Communication Studies, and I'm the department chair. And I've been here at BU and in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania for the last 15 years.
It appears that you are in the academic quad right in front of the fountain.
Yeah, otherwise it's the magic of green screen. I get to be at work even when I'm not at work.
Yes, because that is magic, being at work all the time.
Oh yeah.
That is magic, right. All right, thank you, Dr. LaValle. Michaela.
Hi, I'm Michaela Lynch. I'm a senior at Bloomsburg. I am an interpersonal communication major with a minor in health communication. I am the president of Lambda Pi Eta, which is the honor society for communication here. And I'm from Collegeville, Pennsylvania.
All right, great. Thank you, Michaela. Caitlin.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm a senior here at Bloomsburg University in the organizational communication major. And I also have an emergent media minor, and I am ComDay chair in the club NCASC, which is the National Communication Association Student Club.
All right, great. Thank you, Caitlin. Lindsay.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Garnell. I'm I guess a super senior, but I'll be graduating this semester in December. So excited. I'm on the Interpersonal Communication Studies major, and I have minors in aging gerontology, psychology, and health communication. I am the secretary for the BU speech and debate team, and I am the PR officer for Lambda Pi Eta as well. And I'm from Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Getting all that in 5 years, honestly, is a pretty impressive feat. So I applaud you for squeezing that into 5 years. Well done. Well done. Jordan.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jordan Parcell. I'm a current senior here at Bloomsburg with a dual major in business management, communication studies, and the organizational track. I also have 2 minors in psychology and human resources. I'm the vice president of NCOC, and I'm also from Bloomsburg, PA.
Excellent. All right, great. Thank you, Jordan. And Alicia.
Hi, I'm Alicia Nelson. I am a junior at Bloomsburg, and I am a comm major with a focus in organizational track, and I have a health communication minor and sociology minor.
Again, very, very busy, both of you. Great. Good for you. Sydney.
Hi, I'm Sydney Rimmer. I'm a senior here at Bloomsburg. I'm a double major in communications with a leadership and public advocacy focus and political science with the legal studies focus. I also have a minor in public relations. And as for my extracurriculars, I'm a member of the BU field hockey team. I'm president of the presidential leadership program, secretary of Lambda Pi Eta, which is the communications honors fraternity, and secretary of the student athlete advisory committee. And I'm from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania.
So they always say your resume is supposed to be 1 page long. Sydney, I don't think that's going to be possible for you.
It's 1 page if the font's really small.
Yeah, I was going to say like size 4 font maybe might be the only way you're going to get that done. All right, great. Thank you, Sydney. Megan.
Hello, my name is Megan Beck. I'm from Nazareth, Pennsylvania. I'm a senior who's a dual major in communication studies on the organizational track and media and journalism on the public relations track. For my extracurriculars, I'm the vice president of Lambda Pi Eta. There's a lot of us in this panel currently. I'm also the historian for Tri Alpha Honor Society for first generation college students, and the vice president of service for Alpha Phi Omega, the coeducational and national service fraternity on campus. And I'm also social media and marketing chair for the intramural sports department. So if you're ever interested in any of that, you can always let me know. And if you see any posts from intramural sports, they're usually from me.
And we should all like those posts and share those posts, right? Yes. Megan, you probably spend a lot of time in McCormick, it sounds like. Double major,
Yes.
media journalism and in communication studies. Good for you. Good for you. So without going any further here, we're going to go ahead and jump into Dr. LaValle's presentation. Dr. LaValle, do you want to?
Sure. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Just to go through some of the fun details about the major, and I don't want to take too much time because certainly folks are here to hear from the students, ask questions, to find out about the major. So this is communication studies. As you heard folks mention, we have 3 concentrations. Communication studies as a major generally is about investigating and practicing communication across a variety of contexts, interpersonal, public, small group, within organizational and professional settings. And so within the major, students take a certain set of core courses to give them some foundational skills, and then they choose from these 3 concentrations to focus in. And as you heard the students mention, this is a major that pairs well with a lot of other majors and minors. So we encourage our students, when they have the space in their schedule, to branch out and pick up minors, other majors that they're interested in, that help them craft their degree, to get them to where they want to be.
Dr. LaValle.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm
Tom.
sorry, real quick. What are some of the more common minors or double majors that you would see for a student who's in the communication studies program?
Yeah, so we do get quite a few that double with media or have minors in emergent media, public relations. A lot of our students who are in our interpersonal concentration might pick up a minor in psychology or sociology if they're interested in social service kinds of work, maybe after college. You heard Sydney mention political science. We get some students who are also double majors with business. For our organizational communication students, the human resources minor is really popular. And we have a situation worked out with them so that the internship that the students do can count for both their HR minor and their major internship requirement. We have some folks that are history minors, philosophy, languages. Really, there's just about any minor pairs well with a major in communication studies.
Excellent, great, thank you.
Yeah. And to give folks a little bit more of an idea of what goes into these 3 concentrations, I want to give you a look at just some of the classes that students take in the upper level, or that they get to choose from as they finish out their degree. So within our interpersonal communication concentration, and these aren't all of them, these are just a selection of the courses. We have classes that focus on things like gender issues. So examining how gender is constructed and how it affects our communication. Conflict management is a really popular course. I think that's a great course for everyone. If I had all my will, all of us would take conflict management. It's useful everywhere. We've got some classes that focus specifically on health communication. You heard some students mention the health communication minor. So we have a minor that focuses specifically on health communication for folks who might be interested in working in the healthcare field. And then we have courses on things like family and relational that give folks a chance to take a deeper dive into communication within those specific contexts. So that gives you some sense of our interpersonal courses. Leadership and public advocacy. This is a concentration that's really focused more on public communication, the public deliberative process. Students in this concentration are often interested in working in public communication, public relations, government, those kinds of areas. And some of the courses that they take include persuasion, argument and analysis, new media and visual culture, which focuses on some of the new media, right? Every day it seems like we have a new media channel to figure out and look at how communication functions within that channel. Issue and image campaigns focuses, it's a real great class to take during an election season. To look at how campaigns function, what are strategies that work well for candidates, what are tactics that maybe don't work as well, but it's really focused on that public communication process. And then our third concentration is our organizational concentration, which is focused on business and professional settings. And so the classes focus on the skills that students might need in those kinds of situations. So computer applications for professional communicators, which I think is the longest class title we have, but it's focused on communication technologies and platforms that students might use in a professional setting, website design, how to put a newsletter together, presentation, so PowerPoint, Prezi, whatever the other newest technologies are. Interviewing is a great class that we offer in the spring as students are getting ready to go out on the job market. Is all about interviewing skills, both from the perspective of the interviewee, so how do you successfully interview, but also from the other side. So to be a skilled interviewer, what do you need to be able to do? Communication training in organizations focuses on, how we teach important communication skills to other people within the workplace. And then we've got things like communication for business professionals and crisis communication. So we offer a lot of variety in our upper level coursework so that students can select the classes that are going to help them move towards the career that they want to move towards. What makes a good student, or what kinds of students would be a good fit for communication studies? I really think just about any student would be a good fit for communication studies. It really is a major that prepares you to do a wide variety of careers. So I think students who are curious about how do we interact effectively with others, students who want to work with others. I know that, when it comes to a class, doing a group project isn't always people's favorite activity, but I tell all my students, when you graduate and go off into the quote unquote real world, you're going to be working with groups all the time. And so you have to learn how to do it effectively. So, wanting to learn how to do that, or if you already enjoy working with groups, this is going to be a great major for you. Students who value diverse perspectives and want to learn about ideas that are maybe different from their own and get a sense of how people communicate from a different identity or a different perspective, are going to learn a lot about that in our major. If you want to build your writing skills, your speaking skills, your listening skills, this is a great major for you. And if you're looking for a degree that gives you a lot of flexibility so that you can go in a variety of paths, communication studies is the place that you want to be.
Dr. LaValle, what are some classes in high school that students might be taking that would, if they enjoyed the coursework, that it would be a good indicator that communication studies might be the right major for them?
Yeah, so I think classes in communication or English classes, particularly if they're focused on speaking. I think, I took a lot as a high school student, I took a lot of psychology classes. There weren't necessarily, I went to high school in Minnesota. We didn't have a lot of communication specific classes in high schools. But I find that what I do, I teach primarily in the interpersonal communication area. We have a lot of overlap with psychology. And so, I enjoyed psychology. If you have classes even in business communication, that's the thing about our major is there's not always like a direct translation to classes that students might have taken in high school. But if you see a lot of our students are part of student organizations, student clubs. So if you enjoyed being part of a student club, if you were in leadership in a student club, you did work in student newspaper or media kinds of things, I think that we see some of that translating.
Okay, great, thank you.
Absolutely. And so this is the kind of stuff that I think hopefully gets you into the major. I know if there's any parents watching right now, what you want to know about is like the professional experience and the career opportunities. So for comm studies, we have internships as a requirement. There's our capstone requirement is the students do an internship. We want them to apply the knowledge, skills they've gained in their classes, get their foot in the door somewhere. I have an advisee who graduated this summer, who got a job offer from her internship site. So that's where she's working now. Our student organizations give lots of opportunities for students to build their skills. They plan events on campus, organize things. And so there's opportunity for experience building there. A lot of our classes incorporate project-based learning. So for example, our communication for business professionals class last semester worked in groups with some clients to produce media, to produce brochures, to produce website marketing kinds of materials to help their organizations, their clients they were working with, better market themselves or develop a campaign for something that they were interested in. So we see some project-based learning across a variety of classes. And then there's also opportunities for research with faculty, both outside the classroom, but also in classes. So this semester in my family communication class, all of my students are doing original research projects, right? They chose topics that were of interest to them. They're designing the study. We're going to collect data, and they're going to get to present their research at the end of the semester. So that's something that's really exciting. And it's something that you can tell a future employer, like that you have research skills, you have the ability to analyze information, present information. And those are a lot of the skills that employers are looking for that are really important. In terms of possible careers, I like to tell folks that communication studies is a major that doesn't prepare you for a specific job. It prepares you to be successful in a wide variety of jobs. So here's just some examples of some of the places that our students go. Some of them go into human resources, training and development, public relations, on kind of the business and professional side of things. We have a number of students who become event coordinators. They work with companies, organizations, sometimes, hotel chains, places that host events, to coordinate and plan those. Community relations, social services, health field kinds of jobs, and student support services, education, student affairs. A lot of our interpersonal students have gone kind of that direction. And some of them have gone to grad school on their way to some of these careers. So it's also a major that prepares folks well for a number of different graduate programs. Just to give you a sense of some of our alumni, Megan is the student that I mentioned who is my advisee, who is a talent search associate. That's a human resources type position with Dental Team Finder. So they seek out dentists and help them find jobs or help dental offices find dentists to work for them. Giovanna Andrews is founder and CEO of a charitable organization called Harper's Heart. Audra does project coordination for Aquient Studios. Jake Kelly is a PhD student and is also a community impact coordinator for Central Susquehanna Opportunities. And Jennifer Inaba does special publications management for a media group, Greenspun Media. And so you can see some of the breadth of careers that our students go into. In terms of just general highlights, some of these things I've already mentioned. Our program offers students some key courses that really give foundational skills: public speaking, small group communication, research courses, theory courses that provide that strong foundation that then will lead you to your elective courses where you can customize the major within your concentration to really, go in the direction that you want to go in. The internship gives you the opportunity to apply your knowledge, your skills from your coursework, get a sense of careers that you're interested in, get your foot in the door somewhere. And our faculty, we have 17 faculty. For a smallish school, that's a lot of faculty. And we have folks who are top researchers in their field. We have folks who bring real world work experience to the classroom, but all of us really care about student success. That is our main priority. We want to make sure that our students have the opportunities that they need to be successful. And so I think that's one of maybe what I would say is one of the key things about our program is our faculty and how much what the students are doing matters to them. And just real briefly, job outlook. Our most recent first destination survey showed that our students have 90% placement rate in either jobs or graduate school. In terms of all of those fields that I mentioned that our students might go into, they're all showing anticipated job growth, especially things in the health field, social services fields. We know those especially are growing. And if you ask any recruiter, manager who's going to hire, what are the skills that they're looking for in a new employee, in a recent college graduate, they're looking for folks who have, communication skills. They can interact well with others, their leadership skills, critical thinking. Those are all skills that you're going to get in a communication studies major. So I think our majors are very hireable and they're very successful when they leave our campus. So I tried to keep it short, Tom.
Well, I was going to say, moms and dads, I think that the most important thing is it sounds like your student is going to be employable and have a job when they leave, and that's important. And yeah, and Dr. LaValle, there's a lot to say about communication studies. And the other thing that I wanted to mention too is that the program was recently ranked as one of the top 10 programs across the country for communication studies. So it is held in high regard. And I'm not just giving you, my own personal opinion, right? So yeah, like I said, it's a program that has a lot to offer to prospective students, but that's why we want to make sure we are bringing in our current student panel here to be able to talk about their experiences. And I think that's probably what a lot of prospective students want to hear. My guess is for prospective students and parents, you've all sat in classrooms before, you have a pretty good sense of what that's going to look like, but some of the content, some of the academic experiences, a lot of that's going to be very different in colleges. So that's why we wanted to, again, make sure that we are going to highlight some of our current students. So we do have a list of seated questions here, but if anyone in the audience who's watching has any questions they want to have the panel specifically address, please type it onto the Facebook post and I will get it to the group. But we will start off with a softball here. And Michaela, we can start with you. Favorite class and why?
Ooh, okay, well, that's a little tough for me because I am a health communication minor, and that's like my favorite part probably about communication. So I think I would have to go with either my global health communication class or just health comm in general, because that is how I want to go after college or focus in. So I would have to go with that.
So health communications, what do you learn in that? Like what kind of things are you doing in that class?
So actually, I took these classes over COVID, well, obviously COVID's still going on, but in the midst of all of it. So I was online and everything. So we talked a lot about COVID and the global effects of it, how different countries are dealing with it. We talked about just different healthcare systems throughout the US, throughout different countries, how we relate to them, how we don't, how we can improve. We did some projects on specific topics relating that we could choose for our project relating health communication in any sort of way. We talked about pandemics, epidemics.
Yeah, a lot of heavy stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
but you enjoy it. So you're interested in health communications. What's your end game? What's the career goals then?
So right now I'm actually in the process of finding a graduate program. So after college, I want to go and do a graduate program and hopefully, well, right now I'm looking at one through St. Joe's, which is a health communication and pharmaceutical marketing program.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
I
Okay.
really want to go the pharmaceutical and marketing route more. So I really want to look into that and hopefully just be successful in that field or any health communication field, really.
Okay, sure. Great. Thank you, Michaela. Caitlin.
My favorite class would probably be small group communication. I love the one-on-one connection that you get from that class, and actually ended up being really good friends from the people that I worked with in that class. So like that just comes to show you, and working with groups, you might start off by hating it. You might be the person that, oh, I can't do groups. But when you're in the communication studies major, you do group projects often, and I've learned to really appreciate them and love them, because in reality, after college, we're all going to be working in a group. So it's a very important skill to have. And working outside with a client through that group was also a very beneficial thing I found. And that's probably my favorite group. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not many careers where a lot of the work is going to be you flying solo. For the most part, it's that's the reality of a modern economy, which is good. That's good. Okay, great. Lindsay.
Oh my goodness, this is so hard. I hate this question. Okay.
I say you probably taken a lot of classes, so
yeah.
I know
Okay, so I guess I would have to narrow it down between two. I would say conflict management and between patient provider communication.
Okay. Best tip you learn in conflict management.
Oh boy. Honestly, I think one of the things that I just found most helpful is just to be aware of your own, like what kind of style do you use? What kind of strategies do you use? Because when you're aware of like what kind of style you have, I think it makes going through conflicts with others so much easier, and you can really just learn how to manage it more effectively in order to reach the best possible outcome. Because conflict, it doesn't have to be like a screaming fight match as sometimes like people might think when you think of conflict. No, that's actually not really what conflict technically is at all. It's just basically like a struggle between people, maybe disagreement over like incompatible goals, things like that, things you may not agree on. Does not have to be really bad. And I think conflict management really taught me how to look at conflict as more of an opportunity instead of just not bad.
Okay, great. Thank you. Jordan.
So I would have to say my top two favorite classes would be gender issues in communication, or the one I'm in right now, which is the communications for business professionals. I very much do like actually having the hands-on experience of working with like a local nonprofit organization, which is the United Way of Columbia Montour counties right now. And it's a great experience.
Yeah. All right, great. Thank you, Jordan. Alicia.
My top two favorite classes, sorry, I couldn't pick just one. Definitely small group communication was really good, like learning to work with people in a small group. And then the next semester I was taking business professional communication, or what is it? Communication for business professionals. And that was a really nice experience because my group actually worked with the Department of Communication Studies at Bloomsburg.
Oh, okay.
So like we came up with ideas and like some materials about promoting a new minor for the department. And it was a really good experience.
We appreciate you doing that. You're helping us in admissions. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Alicia. Sydney.
See, I'll agree with Lindsay. This was a hard question because I have a lot of favorites for a lot of different reasons. I think I'll pick one in my LPA focus. So argument and analysis was a really interesting class for me.
Okay.
I think it kind of challenged me because I'm so used to picking my side and only fighting for my side. And that kind of made me learn to fight for both sides and understand how to break down the other side to use it to my advantage. And I think it'll be really helpful in my future career path as well. So I really enjoyed it.
And what is your future career path?
Well, as of right now, I'm actually currently studying for my LSAT. I've taken it on round 2. And
Nice.
from there, I'll probably go to law school. And then from there, I'll likely take my bar, but I'm also really interested in lobbying. So
nice. Good for you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sydney Rimmer, Esquire, attorney at law. It's got a nice ring to it. Cool. Megan.
Okay, so I also have 2 favorites, but I'm going to focus on more of one than the other. So
You're stuck on a stranded island. You can bring one class with you, right?
Okay, so I'll talk about the one that no one else talked about. I'm going to choose crisis communication because I'm interested in public relations. And this course really showed me the different aspects of a crisis, not just like from an organization's point of view, but from multiple. So we have a project where we had to choose a company, and my group chose Uber because they have a lot of crises, which includes like altercations between passengers and drivers and a plethora of other issues. So we basically had to analyze different crises that have happened to Uber in the past and basically give them suggestions on how they can alleviate some of these crises. So I was essentially seeing it from the public relations almost point of view, and like I had a lot of overlap between both of my majors in that course. So it was very interesting for me to do at the time.
Yeah, it sounds very interesting. Yeah, very cool. Thank you. So this is, like Dr. LaValle had mentioned earlier, this is likely not a subject that you are taking classes on in high school. So how did you all find your path or find your way to the communication studies program? What was the indicator for you? Like, oh, you know what? This is the right major. Michaela.
So I actually came to Bloomsburg playing lacrosse and a nursing major. I'm currently doing neither. Not that either are wrong. I loved both. I broke my femur, so I stopped playing lacrosse, and nursing I realized was not the path that I thought it was going to be for me. But I felt like I was so lost. I didn't know what to do. And at the same time that I was thinking of switching my major, the health communication minor was coming into play. Like it was the first year. So I looked at it and I just felt like, okay, it still has the health field for me. I love interacting with people. I feel like I'm always talking to people. I like working in groups, and I liked the business side of things. Although it's obviously communication, it still has that aspect of a professional environment. And I just felt really drawn to it, and it was probably the best decision I made.
Other than coming to Bloomsburg.
Well, yeah, so that's what I mean. This is the best path for me.
Right. All right, great. Thank you, Michaela. Caitlin.
I'd say the reason I'm in communication studies is that throughout my teenage years, I worked with the Children's Miracle Network at Danville quite a lot. Yeah. And I started doing events where I'd go and speak in front of varies from 10 to 100 to 1,000 people, depending. Oh, wow. And I discovered I absolutely loved public speaking. I didn't get nervous.
You were a teenager?
I was a teenager, yep.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah, right. Not a lot of people like that. So the fact that I actually enjoyed that and had that skill, that good professional skill, I talked to a lot of people that actually were communication graduates, and they persuaded me to go into that path because it fit my criteria of what I was meant to do. So, and the fact that I I helped volunteer at the Children's Miracle Network. That's not far away from Bloomsburg. So that is why I actually chose to go to Bloomsburg, because I wanted to intern for them years past. things have
Mhm.
changed a little bit since then. And throughout
Yeah.
college, I've decided that I'd love to be an event planner. That
Oh, cool.
that skills come about, and I absolutely love it. So it's definitely, she's right. Like, you walk
Mhm.
in with one plan, but it doesn't always stay like that, and it's fine.
Mhm.
You find your way, and it's great.
So our previous grad assistant, and she might be watching, Angela, she was a communication studies major. And then she went into the MBA program and she worked in our office, but she is now an event planner. We'll have to make sure we link you guys up. She works in, I think she works in like Manhattan. She always sends us photos of like her office view, really rubbing it in there. So anyways, awesome. That's a great backstory, Caitlin. Very interesting. Thank you. Lindsay.
Okay, so like Michaela, I was also a science major coming in. I was a medical
Okay.
science major at one point. And then I was like, I started to become unsure. I knew I didn't really want to do anything that had to do with like the health sciences, like biology, chemistry stuff.
Mhm.
So I went undeclared. And then I took interpersonal communication as just a gen ed,
Mhm.
just take it, knock it off. But I loved it. And at the time, I was considering going into social work, which is now something I'm definitely will be doing for my grad program, for my master's. But
Mhm.
again, at the time, I wasn't sure. So I wanted something that was more flexible, something that could just prepare me for a variety of options. So I
Mhm.
figured, I love interpersonal communication.
Mhm.
This major would help me. This would really prepare me. Let's do it. And here I am.
Done deal. All right, great. Thank you, Lindsay. And Lindsay, we did open up an MSW program at Bloomsburg too. I'm just
I
dropping that
did
in
see that, and I
there.
will be applying there.
We appreciate that. Thank you, Lindsay.
Mhm.
Jordan.
So like Lindsay and Michaela, I was actually a medical imaging major for a full
Oh my
day.
gosh. Wow. Holy cow, man.
Yes.
If Dean Latha is watching, the Dean of the College of Science and Technology, I promise we're not trying to roast the College of Science and Technology.
Yeah,
All right, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Jordan.
I was a medical imaging major for a full day. Switched
Day,
over.
okay.
Yeah, switched over to business management, and I didn't feel,
Right.
I felt welcome in the college, but everyone
Sure.
seemed like so professional and so much
Right.
bigger than I was.
Okay. Yeah.
And I had actually gone through a semester and I took Intro to Communications with Dr. King, and she
Yeah.
was amazing. I love the class, and I'm like, I want to like pair this with business. And that's how I got, I also met Professor Hopek in small group communication as soon as I added the major. And they're so supportive, and they helped me kind of like grow out of my shell, where it helped me in the business world to network, to become more professional and work on my development. So yeah, I found that through classes and just finding my path at Bloomsburg, which I think everyone goes through.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. It seems like all paths lead to communication studies. So that's nothing wrong with that. Great. Thank you, Jordan. Alicia.
So I have to follow the trend of everyone else.
Oh boy.
I was also a medical imaging.
Oh my goodness.
I came to Bloomsburg for, and I only had that for my first semester here before I dropped it, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. And so I just heard about communication studies, and I was like, okay, let me try out a class, see how it goes. And I had Dr. King for, I think it was interpersonal communication, and I really enjoyed it. So I just took a few more, and I was like, yeah, this is definitely what I want to do, I think.
The medical imaging faculty, they have to be walking into their classes and like they see empty seats. They're like, where'd everybody go? You know, and everyone's on their way sprinting over to communications. All right, great. Thank you, Alicia. Sydney.
I'll break the trend. You guys
Okay, good. I was going to guess. It's either medical imaging or nursing. It seems like that's
No, I'm an original.
So, okay, all right. You're an OG.
Yeah, I'm an OG. So I think the reason I chose communication straight out of high school was pretty multifaceted. I think I have a natural affinity towards like leadership and like being pretty outspoken.
Sure,
so I knew I would fit in well in communications, but I really wanted to hone my craft because I could definitely communicate and so can everybody, but there's definitely a difference between effective communication and communication in general. And I knew I was going to pair it with something, but I hadn't yet decided. So I knew that would be a good base, and you really can't go wrong because communications can help you with literally any other major or career path you choose to go into. So I knew it would be.
Awesome. Yeah, there's 100% correct. Yes, definitely. Great. Thank you, Sydney. Megan.
So I'm also someone who started out in a different major. I started out as a psychology major.
Okay, all right. At least we're spreading
Psychology.
it around a little bit.
Yes, I took psychology in high school, and I knew that I really enjoyed talking with people and helping them. But then when I started taking it in college, I figured, I'm not really sure if this is for me. And as my family says, I can be kind of a motor mouth at times. So I knew I enjoyed talking to people, and communication studies was my intended minor at the time. And I figured, okay, well, if psychology doesn't work out for me, then I'll move to communication studies. And that's when I started talking to the department and everything. And I was in public speaking at the time. So I talked to my professor for that class, which was Dr. James Petrie. We have two Dr. Petries. They're married. And I've had both of them. They're wonderful. And just after a couple of conversations, I knew communication studies was for me. And then I ended up minoring in emergent media, which is what got me into public relations. And as we all learned in Lambda Pi Eta recently, that communication studies is the found major. We found that a lot of students end up learning about us later on, either in public speaking or interpersonal communication, because the gen eds that most students will take. We found out that there's only a few freshmen who are actually like joined in the major right now, which concerned us because we thought, oh, that's such a small number. Like, we're such a great program. Why is that? But then we learned about each other more. We figured out like, oh, it's more of a found major. So it's kind of something that students end up learning about, like usually not right away, but later on. So I think it's so unique too, because we take in the ones who like weren't really sure of what they wanted to do, and we kind of like bring them in and kind of display their talents for them, essentially.
Yeah, it's always difficult again when you're not taking these subjects in high school, right? Because you don't really have any exposure to it, right? Like, what's the on ramp to this major? And for a lot of people, it's not until they start to take some gen eds when they get to college. So it's not something that you necessarily hear a lot about, which is why we want to do these events like the departmental deep dive, just to help build the awareness that, hey, we have a great program for this and this exists. And if you have these skills, or you have an interest in developing those skills, this might be a good fit for you. So I do know that among the biggest fears for incoming students, honestly, is public speaking. Not even just for incoming students. That's just like the general population. Were most of you proficient public speakers, or is this something that you turned into once you started at Bloomsburg? Megan's already shaking her head no. So I guess that should not be a barrier to entry for any prospective students who are looking at communication studies and thinking, well, this sounds good to me, but I'm still a little nervous about public speaking. I'm not very accomplished public speaker. Maybe this isn't right for me. I think that's probably the skill set that people most commonly think of. But it sounds like that's probably not something that you need to be that concerned about. Do any of our students here have any experiences that they could talk about?
I have, well, I was just going to say, when you said not to be like, you're not perfect in public speaking or whatever, no one is. Everyone gets nervous. It's going to happen no matter how many times you speak in front of someone. Obviously, as you go on, you get more comfortable, and our classes do get smaller and you get to know people more. So you have this relationship with the people that are in your classes, or at least some sort of relationship, which makes it easier, and you feel more comfortable to just talk, and you are confident in what you're talking about, especially when you are interested in that field. So if you're interested in anything you're doing, which honestly with communications is so broad and huge, and there are so many things that you get to talk about, it's fine. Like, you're gonna learn it. I mean, everyone's rough every once in a while. We all have to practice. We all get jitters, but you'll be good.
Yes. Yeah, that's very, very wise advice. Sydney, I know you had a comment.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to the not being a public speaker, because like, give me the spotlight, like I'll soak it up.
You were born for the spotlight, right? Yes.
Yeah. My parents are probably rolling their eyes, but I will say there are so many different types of like leaders and people, and that's what you find out where you fall in the group. So once you get through the public speaking part, like that's not the whole major, it is a gen ed and everybody has to go through it. But the one thing I did learn in public speaking, it's not just learning to speak publicly, like it's writing an effective speech too. And that can go so far because even in my internship, I had to do speech writing for some of the senators. And I learned a lot of that in public speaking just by writing my ineffective speech.
Right. Yeah.
So
a lot of it's just like procedural based things. Like I took, so I mean, almost every student takes intro to public speaking as a freshman. And a lot of it is just, just like it's the logistics of planning a speech and how do you prepare and what do you put on a PowerPoint and how do you write a PowerPoint, right? It's not just, like sometimes it seems like people are just going up and speaking off the cuff, and sometimes that does happen. But more times than not, a lot of those presentations, there's a lot of careful planning that's gone into place there. And a class like that, a major like this is going to teach you those types of things.
yeah,
Lindsay.
Behind the
sorry,
scenes.
go ahead, Sydney.
I was just going to say behind the scenes is just as important. So.
Honestly, yes, but like that's 90% of the work is all the stuff that happens behind the scenes. Yep, 100%. Lindsay.
Okay, so before the major, before all that, I always wanted to try public speaking, but I was so nervous, super nervous, really scared going into it. Mm-hmm. And then I took interpersonal, which you would think that has nothing to do with public speaking, but my professor, Dr. Brummett, she's the advisor for Lambda Pi Eta, which is our honor society, and they host an event every year called the Speaker Forum. And at that point, I was undeclared, so I was, I guess, in a try anything kind of mode. I'm like, you know what, this is an opportunity because every year they hold tryouts, and I was just like, you know what, can't hurt, let's just try something. And I fell in love with it. And now I'm even the secretary for the BU speech and debate team. And I will say the nerves don't really ever go away. I mean, they're always going to be there. Yep. What matters is how you manifest those nerves and how you express them. And like sometimes nerves, I believe, are honestly, they help you. They can actually help you because they can like transfer into really more like energetic and like just like excited energy and enthusiasm. And honestly, I'm really, really, really glad I got the opportunity to get better at public speaking because it's one of my favorite things to do right now. I love being on the team. I love getting up in front of people. It's one of my favorite things. And I'm so glad I just gave it a try.
You want the mic at all times.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, great. So next question. What are your career goals here? And I know for some of you, I already kind of asked you to jump into this. But like, do you have any career titles? You have any fields that you're pretty interested in? Michaela, we can start with you. Sounds like you're interested in the pharmaceutical industry, sales, marketing, something like that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of following the footsteps of my father, not intentionally, like completely unintentional.
Want the record to show. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it really wasn't. I was going in a different health field to start. But here I am. He works for a pharmaceutical company and like a pretty big one. And I've always watched him. And I'm like, I really actually enjoy what he does. Like he'll explain it to us. And it's always been something I've been interested in, not even something that I knew I was really interested in. So I don't know exactly a title. I mean, obviously something high up I'd love, but that's just a goal to build to. But I definitely want to be successful in whatever I do, even if I change my mind sometime down the line. But something definitely, hopefully, in the health and pharmaceutical field.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you, Michaela. Caitlin.
So I walked into college wanting to do this whole thing. I was set up, I was dead set on it. But then I became event coordinator and Conde chair of the communication day. And I started planning events that way. And I discovered that I absolutely love event planning. Although it is very hard, it's something I'm very passionate about and I'm very good at. And I didn't know that until I had that opportunity. So now my goal is to be an event planner for, hopefully I want to do something more medical related. Okay. So at this point, I'm not 100% sure where that's going to lead me, but that is the direction I'm in and I'm very excited about it.
Awesome. Yes, like I said, we'll have to get you linked up with Ange. I know she's out there in the audience watching. Thank you, Caitlin. Lindsay.
So as I mentioned earlier, my goal is to go to grad school to get my master's in social work. And actually right now, my internship is really, really preparing me well for that. My end goal is to work with older adults in some way, shape, or form, help older adults in our community. Right now, I'm actually interning at Maria Joseph Continuing Care Community over in Danville.
Yep.
And it's kind of really confirmed that I really just want a chance to be able to work with older adults, to be able to advocate for them, work with their families. Overall, it's just something I'm really passionate about.
Yeah. Great. Excellent. Yeah, good for you. Jordan.
So I'm looking for a career in HR. I call it HR on steroids because you do need to go get your master's degree.
Yeah, okay.
So the program, it's industrial organizational psychology or business psych.
Yeah.
So I am looking at grad school for that. And if anything, if that didn't work out, I'm looking to specialize in like recruitment. I love networking. I network with alumni all the time through Husky Ambassadors. So definitely looking into like recruitment and training and development through that job.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. And I'm going to stop myself from trying to recruit you all to come to a BU grad program. We'll save that for offline. But now there's a lot of good feeder programs back to BU grad program. But great. Yeah, Jordan. Interesting. Very cool. Alicia.
So I mean, I don't really have an exact job position that I'm looking for.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of still waiting to have my chance to do an internship and get some experience and figure out really what I like or maybe what I don't like in like what I get to experience.
Sure. Yeah.
Right now, I'm just not sure. But I mean, like Dr. LaValle mentioned before, like there's so many different paths that you can go. So I'm just excited to see like what all the options are that I could find.
Alicia, it makes you feel better. I'm 35. I'm not sure what I want to do for the rest of my life either. So you're not alone.
Okay, good.
Sydney.
Yeah, so as previously stated,
Attorney General.
Yeah. I am applying to law school right now, and we'll see. Either I continue on as a lawyer or maybe go back into lobbying or somewhere in politics, but plans lawyer right now.
Senator, governor. I mean, what? Aim big, man. Like let's go
Remember
big.
my name. I'll autograph something now, and then
we'll take it. Can we mark you down? Maybe we'll name a building after you, right? We have the new Arts and Administration building. I'm just saying, you know.
Making me a little nervous. I've got big shoes to fill now.
Yeah, I'm trying to speak it into existence, right? The campaign starts today, all right?
Yeah, we'll manifest it.
Yeah, there you go, right. Megan.
So as I stated before, I'm very interested in public relations. So that's probably the position I'd be most looking for. Start out like as a public relations specialist, and then my goal would be to move up to like a public relations manager. I'm also interested in like the social media content creation type job, something that I would find first. That's completely fine with me. But my end goal, like later on in life, maybe, is I would love to be like my own public relations agent where I'd have my own business and I'd be able to advocate for small businesses in my local community where I'm from. And that way I'd be able to, my goal would be to teach other like small businesses how to use social media type of stuff for like marketing purposes. And I to teach them kind of the skills that I learned here at Bloomsburg, so that eventually they would be able to take it on their own and learn from the skills that I would teach them.
Yeah, it's almost like a consultant.
Yes.
Yes, nice. And Megan, maybe you could run Sydney's campaign.
I was just about to unmute myself and say, we'll link up, Megan. Like,
that's perfect.
Yeah,
I'll be your PR person.
There you go, done deal. So last question before we sign off for the night. What has been your favorite aspect of the communication studies major, Michaela?
That's kind of tough because coming in as someone that wasn't an OG, I felt like I was gonna.
Did I say that correctly? Did I use, is that the right? Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's definitely correct.
Okay.
I just felt like I was gonna feel kind of lost because I thought that a bunch of other people were already majors, but it obviously turns out that this is a found major, like Megan was saying. So I kind of wasn't behind, and actually, with the track that I wanted to go, some of my classes that I took like helped with my minor and everything. But my favorite thing I think was honestly just having the availability of like to all the professors and my advisor, because I did not dislike the health field. I liked it. The difference between the health field and communications, I feel, are obviously they're great communicators. That is, all the professors and advisors are used to that. But they were, and still are, very on point with responding, and they make you feel very included in everything. They want you to be a part of the community, like the communication community. And if you need help, like no matter what, even if they don't know the answer, they will respond to you and try to help you find that answer. And they won't stop until they help you, no matter what, even if it's like sending you to someone different or something. So I felt that that was honestly super amazing, because I never had professors or advisors that were so in tuned and wanted to be connected to their students, which I really loved.
Sure. Great. Thank you, Michaela. Caitlin.
I would also agree. I really like the connectivity that you can get from professors and even the students you work around. Like the more you get up in communication studies, you do break away into smaller groups and smaller classes. And I love that I'm at the point right now that I've become pretty close with a lot of the people I'm in classes with. I love that personal communication, getting to know someone one-on-one, and it also helps with networking skills after college. So you learn these things about people, and like after college, I can look back and say, hey, I need someone that has this skill. Oh, I know someone, I can reach out to them. So I absolutely love that. And then the talking with your professors, like you get to know them on a personal and sometimes even personal and professional level, which I find pretty great, because I guess in high school they make it sound like professors are this scary thing that you should be scared of, and and it's not like that at all. They become some of like your, I don't want to say closest friends, but someone you can come to about anything, and they help guide your way. And I think that's my favorite part about the communication studies department, is that connection that you get from everyone, for sure.
Yeah, they're colleagues, and that was one thing I liked about college too, is, you're treated like an adult, and so your professor is more of like a collaborator, as opposed to someone who is, who's an instructor, I guess it might be the thing I would compare it against. But no, those are great points. Yes. Thank you, Caitlin. Lindsay.
Same thing. I honestly just, when I first was undeclared, looking for a new major, what kind of stood out to me the most about the communication studies major, just everyone's just welcoming. They really care about you, and I just feel really welcomed into this community we have here. And that's something I really do appreciate. It makes me feel valued. It makes me feel like we're all really close to one another. I just really, really, really enjoy it. It makes me feel really good.
Great. Thank you, Lindsay. Jordan.
Probably the same thing. I felt so welcome when I first joined that, I'm like, I belong here. And I definitely do think of my professors as my colleagues, and they're also very supportive of students. So I've heard about Megan and Sydney a lot, but I've never actually met them. Professors hype up the students that, are stepping up and they're finding their place in the department and above the department. And they're our biggest supporters. And I love that so much about communications.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Great. Thank you. Alicia.
So when I first became a comm major, I really enjoyed it because all the courses, just the topics that you are learning about are just really useful in everyday life for pretty much anybody. So that really appealed to me. But then also once I got more involved with my major and the department, like everyone else said, all the professors are really easy to talk to, and you can just reach out if you have any questions. And if they don't know, they can always turn you to somebody else that can help you.
Right. Yeah, great answer. Thank you, Alicia. Sydney.
Yeah, I have a couple things. Thanks, Jordan, by the way, for what you said. It goes off of mine. I think a lot of my professors are really great about advocating for me as a student and finding the best opportunities for me to fulfill. I think our department as a whole offers a lot of opportunities for students. So we have NCASC, Comm Day through that, LPH, and then we have the research colloquium and speakers forum through that. So the things you do in class, gives you an opportunity to really show off your scholarship, and like you can put those things on resumes. And also something I really like is what a tight knit major we are, because we're tiny, but we're really hands-on. So our professors are really great about working you through the advising process and everything. And I feel kind of lost in my like some of my other majors and minors. So I'm glad to have them as like a rock, where if I ever have any questions, I know I can run back to them.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's really helpful too in a major that helps prepare people for such a wide variety of careers. So just on this call alone, we have a future pharmaceutical sales rep, a future event planner, a future social worker, a future human resources analyst, or possibly even a trainer. Alicia, you're like me, we're shopping around, right? A future attorney / attorney general / senator / president. I'm putting it out there, president. Rimmer 2032, we'll say. Okay. And Megan, a future PR consultant. So, I mean, obviously there's a lot of things that you can do with this degree, right? So having the appropriate kind of advising that would take place at this point gives you a good foundation to start off and helps like illuminate all your options. So I think that's an important part of this too, is the advising is so crucial to this because there's a lot you can do. Yeah, good point. And Megan.
So besides our wonderful faculty that I enjoy speaking with every single day, definitely think what astonishes me about the major the most is how much it's helped me in my personal life. Besides like all the professional things that we've learned, taking those core courses like interpersonal communication or small group communication, even public speaking, and some of the other courses that I've taken have really zoned me into myself and even my interpersonal relationships, like outside of my professional life. It's helped me realize how important people are and how important your connections are. And it really zones into home for me. And I'm really able to connect with the most important people in my life a lot more easily than I was in the past.
Yeah.
I was a little more closed off and everything when I was a teenager, just like most of them are. And
right. Yep.
The communication studies major really helped me flourish and find like my niche, which is something I struggled with for a very long time. And then be able to connect with so many great colleagues, whether it's like peers or students or faculty or even other faculty outside of the major, it's really helped me just be so much more than I thought I could be at this point in my life.
That's a great answer. Yeah. And you started off your comment like an outstanding PR consultant there, you know, just getting in the qualifier of, you know, I love the people too, right? I'm about the people, so that was well done. So that is our event for tonight. Really appreciate everybody, like I said, taking the time to join us. If you have any questions about the Communication Studies Department, please reach out to us. We are happy to help in any way that we can. Like I said, we will go through and timestamp this, and we will repost it, like I said, probably early to mid next week. We look forward to hearing from everybody and have a great night.